Hi, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Thanks for listening today. I want to tell you about three main reasons why there's so many sleep problems in this day and age. So, if you think about it, sleep issues weren't much of a thing as little as 200 years ago. Humans actually used to sleep an average of 8.5 hours a night, and now we average 7.5 hours. So, things have definitely changed. And I want to talk about three of those things today and how they affect our sleep and our thoughts about sleep and why we have so many people who can't sleep well. Now, the first reason is technology. So I just went to Florida, and on the way home, I watched the Tom Hanks movie, News of the World. It was a really good movie. It's set right after the Civil War in Texas, so it was in the 1800s. And what struck me most was how they were living. So he drove a wagon pulled by a horse. There was no electricity, there were no cars. The towns were muddy and dusty. And this was less than 200 years ago. And that is what struck me so much, that so much has changed so quickly. Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb until the late 1800s. Until then, people were using fire and oil lamps to be awake after dark. It's so crazy, that wasn't that long ago. The Industrial Revolution that happened around 200 years ago started focusing on productivity and efficiency, and that's when the 8-hour workday was invented. And because of all this focus on efficiency and productivity, sleep was starting to be seen as a waste of time. And we didn't realize then how important sleep is for our health and our bodies. And as you know, now we drive cars across the country and fly on planes all across the world, things we weren't doing even 100 years ago. And with flying, now we can fly across time zones faster than our bodies can adjust. So that leads to more sleep deprivation, jet lag, and stress on our bodies. And I'm sure you're well aware that it's only in the past few decades that newer technology like computers, tablets, and smartphones mean that we can be awake all hours of the day or night if we want to. Now, technology isn't the only reason that we can't sleep, but it plays a huge role. And it's easy to get overstimulated and burned out, which also affects our sleep. So I help my clients have a healthier relationship with technology so that they can sleep better. This isn't going away. We have to figure out how to have this wonderful technology in our lives and still be healthy and still sleep well. So it is one part of the solution to sleeping better. Now, the next reason why we have such a hard time sleeping in this day and age is because of stress. I'm sure you know that stress affects your sleep, but there's actually more to it than you think. So our lives are so go, go, go. Most of us wake up to an alarm clock, hit the ground running, get ready for work, get the kids out the door for school. Then you go to work, eat lunch at your desk, push through tiredness with caffeine and sugar, and then finally get home, make dinner, do the dishes, and get ready for the next day. And when it's time to go to bed, you fall into bed exhausted and then can't sleep. This is how so many of us live, and this was not happening 150 years ago. Even 100 years ago, humans were not rushing around as much. And how this affects our sleep is that when you're busy all day, when you're stressed all day, you have elevated cortisol all day. And when it's high all day, it's much more likely to be high at bedtime and during the night. And then cortisol suppresses melatonin, which is our sleepy hormone, and it's going to keep you awake. So managing your stress during the day is really critical to sleeping well at night. So doing things like taking recovery breaks during the day. I'm talking 5 to 10 minutes every hour or so to relax, let your brain stop thinking for a minute. Of course, stress lowering activities like yoga and meditation are going to help. And then taking that time to wind down at night. So having a relaxing bedtime routine, I'm fine with at the beginning of it if that involves screens and TV, but the last 30 minutes to an hour ideally should be away from screens and doing something really relaxing so that it prepares your body for bed. It helps your cortisol levels lower. Now, worrying about money, being in an unhappy relationship, not liking your job, all of those things too cause constant stress. And so that's why I also address the mental part of not sleeping too. I look at what's going on in the body and I look at what's going on in the mind. Because stress can come from inside the body as well, and that's what we don't know about. It's hard to know if you have something like a pathogen in your gut, or an unhealthy liver, or food sensitivities that you don't even know about. So they're hidden, but they stress your body and they cause it to release cortisol all day and all night. And that's why I use functional lab testing to find out everything that's going on in your body that is causing you that hidden stress, so that we can address stress on all levels in the body and the mind. Now, the third reason that we have so many sleep issues these days is because of inflammation. So cortisol is also an anti-inflammatory hormone. And so if you have inflammation at night, then your body's going to release cortisol then, which is going to keep you from sleeping. So common inflammation comes from three places. It comes from food, it comes from toxins, and it can come from a pathogen in your gut. For foods, common inflammatory foods are going to be things like gluten, dairy, sugar, alcohol, and refined oils like grapeseed, canola, and sunflower oils. Now, eating foods you're sensitive to causes inflammation too. So even healthy foods like salmon and broccoli can be inflammatory if your body doesn't like them. Eating an unbalanced diet for your metabolism can also cause inflammation. So that's why I have all my clients take a food sensitivity test and avoid inflammatory food for 90 days. And then I also help them find their perfect diet based on their metabolism and their individual body. And so that helps lower their inflammation. So cortisol lowers too, and then they can sleep better. Now, as far as toxins go, your liver has to deal with all the toxins in your body. And if your liver gets overburdened, then those toxins are going to keep circulating throughout your body and cause a lot of inflammation. We can be exposed to over 2 million toxins a day. And these are in things like our personal care products, so lotion, face wash, things like that, from cleaning products, from pesticides and herbicides in food, GMOs. Tap water has a lot of metals and toxins that we don't want. Heavy metals, toxins in the air, so the air pollution, BPA, and plastics. So these are all just some of the examples of where these toxins can come from. Again, this has changed a lot in just 100 years as well. So you can minimize the amount of toxins your liver has to handle by using natural personal care products and cleaning supplies, by eating organic food, and by drinking filtered water. It's just a great place to start. And if that seems overwhelming to you, this is exactly what I help my clients with, is making these simple changes one step at a time so it's not too much. It's not too overwhelming. Now, the third source of inflammation is a pathogen in your gut. So a parasite like Giardia, bacteria like H. pylori, and yeast such as Candida. These things excrete a lot of toxins, and that causes a lot of inflammation. And these creatures are most active at night. So they make your body release cortisol and wake you up, especially around 3 and 4 in the morning. And that is why I run a GI map. This is a stool test that shows everything that's living in your gut, the good, the bad, and the ugly, so that we know what to address. And so we can see if that is what is keeping you awake at night. But testing really is the only way to find out exactly what's going on, so that we don't keep guessing about this might help, let's try this and buy this, and nothing really helps. Well, thank you so much for listening. If you are having trouble sleeping, I guarantee you that these things are contributing to you not being able to sleep. So, combination of technology, of stress both in your mind and your body, and inflammation, these are the big reasons why we can't sleep. But I can help you find out everything that's keeping you from sleeping and help you get healthy again so that you can sleep normally. And if this is something you're interested in, then message me and we can set up a time to chat. I know how much it sucks not to be able to sleep. I have been there and I don't wish that on anyone. And that is why I'm doing what I'm doing, to help all of you get the sleep that you need to live your best life, really. Thanks for listening, and I will see you in the group.